Hi, Mel here, and in today's video I'll be flying first class with Hawaiian Airlines from Honolulu, Hawaii to Seattle, Washington. This was my first time in Hawaii and also my first time flying with Hawaiian Airlines. After enjoying 10 days of the island life, I wasn't sure I was ready to return to reality, but at least I could extend my vacation a bit by flying Hawaiian Airlines back to the mainland. So how was the journey? Did Hawaiian Airlines provide the vacation vibes I was hoping for? And is their first class experience comparable to what I've experienced from other US airlines? I hope you'll come along with me today to find out. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's get started. My first trip to Hawaii did not disappoint. I spent time in both Kauai and Oahu, and the energy, beauty, and friendliness of Hawaii surpassed my expectations. When the day arrived for flying back to reality, I was excited that I would at least be doing so with Hawaiian Airlines. My flight was departing around 1 p.m., so I headed to the airport mid-morning to give myself enough time to check out the lounge before my flight. First-class passengers have access to separate check-in desks, but since I was traveling with only a carry-on, I bypassed this and headed straight to security. Once I was past security, I followed the signs towards Hawaiian Airlines Plumeria Lounge. You have access to this lounge if your flight is international or at least 2,000 miles. Let's have a quick look around. As I understand it, while this lounge used to be a priority pass lounge, it no longer is. I'm guessing there might have been a lot of overcrowding when it was still part of that network. As you can see, the lounge is pretty modest and certainly doesn't wow you. But if you're looking for a place to relax or get a bit of food or drink before your flight, it'll do the job. I left a few minutes before boarding began and double-checked to make sure my gate hadn't changed. Still C3. As I headed to my gate, I enjoyed the airport's open-air corridors. You don't usually encounter that at an international airport. I finally arrived at the gate. I only had a couple of minutes to check out the plane before boarding began. Today's flight is aboard one of Hawaiian Airlines A330-200s. The aircraft is equipped with an economy cabin of 260 seats arranged in a 2x4x2 configuration. The business class cabin is equipped with 18 Optimaris Maxima Plus seats, arranged in a 2x2x2 configuration. Each seat converts to a 76-inch long fully flat bed and provides a row pitch of 45 inches and a seat width of 20 inches. My seat for this flight is 1A, a window seat in the bulkhead. As I rounded the corner of the jet bridge, I saw that the flight attendants were wearing Hawaiian shirts. How fun is that? I entered into the plane at the rear of the first-class cabin. While there isn't much privacy between adjacent seats, the cabin does feel spacious, and the 3 rows of seats have a generous amount of space between them. I reached my row and took a closer look around. The dark brown leather is a bit drab and not very festive, but I read that it's actually a very high-end Italian leather that's often used for luxury car seats. On my seat was a plastic-wrapped bundle that included a pillow and a blanket. I like that it's wrapped because then I don't have to worry about where I stash it, knowing that it'll stay clean even if I put it on the floor under the footrest. Now that I'm seated, you can see how generous the space is. I can barely reach the footrest. And that drab leather turns out to be really comfortable. In terms of storage, there's a pocket on the left, which is small but can easily hold a tablet or a Kindle. On the right side is another storage space, again on the small side and unfortunately kind of dirty. On the same side is the scroll wheel that controls the seat position. You have a lot of flexibility with the seat position, including a lie flat position. The USB charge port is also on this side, as are the buttons for the overhead light, do not disturb, and help. Then around front, you'll find the universal outlet and another USB port. The tray table is stowed here in the center console and is quite easy to release and unfold. It's sturdy, but it's also showing its age. There's also a feature here that I've never encountered before, a stand that can be used to hold the Inflight Entertainment tablet, as I'll show you later. Last but not least, there's a very handy and effective extendable barrier that can be used if you'd like more privacy. As boarding continued, I was offered a pre-departure drink and opted to try their signature Mai Tai. It was not only a fun and festive way to begin the flight, but also quite delicious. Drinks were cleared away as we began to pull away from the jet bridge. Since we didn't have the IFE tablet yet, they played the safety announcements on the small screens at the front of the cabin. We made our way to the runway, and soon we were lifting off. Before my flight, I read that Hawaiian Airlines offers free Starlink Wi-Fi across their entire Airbus fleet to all passengers. And this proved to be true. It was the best in-flight connectivity I've experienced on any airline, and you can connect as soon as you board rather than waiting until after takeoff. Kudos to Hawaiian Airlines for this. As soon as we reached our cruising altitude, the flight attendants sprang into action, setting up our tray tables for meal service and passing out the iPads and over-ear headphones. I was impressed by their speed and efficiency. With my headphones on and my tablet in the retractable holder, I explored the IFE options for my flight. Hawaiian Airlines offers movies, TV shows, music, and games. Since the flight was only a little over 5.5 hours long, there were plenty of options to keep me entertained, and I liked the ease of having a touchscreen tablet rather than having to fiddle with a remote control. While I was still deciding on what to watch, meal service began with a drink selection and macadamia nuts. And can I just say that both were fantastic. Earlier in the flight, I had received the first class menu created by Hawaiian chef Jason Peel. I love that Hawaiian Airlines serves island-inspired meals. everyone would be receiving somen noodle salad with sesame dressing as their first course. And then we could choose either beef meatloaf, grated radish and citrus ponzu sauce, or teriyaki roasted eggplant as our main course. I opted for the meatloaf. For dessert, there would be an Okinawa sweet potato and haupia cake. My tray arrived and everything looked great. In addition to the first 2 courses of my meal, I also received another Mai Tai and a taro roll in butter. I love that the salt and pepper comes wrapped in an adorable Hawaiian shirt package. The noodle salad was fresh, had a nice dressing, and I loved the chopped peanut topping. The meatloaf was delicious, tender, moist, and very flavorful. Even the taro roll was great, soft and slightly sweet. All in all, the meal was delicious, and I had no trouble finishing everything. Dessert was served next, along with a glass of Bailey's Irish Cream. And again, I enjoyed it all. As meal service ended, we were over the Pacific Ocean, with 3.5 hours left in the flight. The A330-200 has a single bathroom for first-class passengers located at the front of the plane. But with only 18 passengers in first class, there was rarely a wait. By the way, one thing I appreciate about the A330 first class cabin layout is that window seat passengers can access the aisle with this handy exit space. The lavatory itself is on the small side as expected and is pretty standard in terms of functionality. But the Hawaiian touches really elevate the space. There is coconut-scented foaming hand soap, which just feels festive. And what I loved even more were the lovely flowers and folded leaves. They were such a sweet touch. I also appreciated that the flight attendants kept the lavatory impressively clean throughout the flight. On my way back to my seat, I noticed that there were self-serve snacks and drinks in the galley. With 3.5 hours left in the flight, I decided to get comfortable and then find a movie to watch. I settled on Jurassic Park since we had just toured one of the filming locations while we were in Oahu. And it's one of those movies you can watch over and over and still enjoy. After the movie, I decided to try out the seat in the lie-flat position. I wasn't particularly tired, but for purposes of this review, I wanted to see how it felt. With the seat flat and the privacy partition up, it actually felt very cozy and secluded. I left the light on so the video wouldn't be too dark, but it was clearly more relaxing after I turned off the light. As we neared the end of the flight attendants came by to pass out chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. I raised the shade to prepare for landing and was greeted by this beautiful sky. While we watched the approach and landing, what did I think of my first flight with Hawaiian Airlines? All in all, I loved the whole experience. While the plane was on the older side and the cabin configuration was not ideal for privacy, those things ultimately didn't matter at all to me. The friendly crew and the delicious food and drinks more than made up for these deficiencies. And let's not forget the Hawaiian touches sprinkled throughout the flight. The Hawaiian shirts on the crew, the tropical drinks, the macadamia nuts, the Hawaiian-inspired meal, the flowers and palm leaves in the lavatory. It all contributed to a fun, festive vacation feel. And isn't that exactly what anyone would want when starting or ending a holiday in Hawaii? For me personally, if and when I return to Hawaii, I wouldn't hesitate to book Hawaiian Airlines again. This is a good time to mention that, as always, my travel experiences are not paid for, sponsored, or discounted in any way, and nobody was informed that I was doing this review. Thanks for coming along today. Comment below if you have any questions. And if you've flown with Hawaiian Airlines yourself, I'd love to hear what you thought. Do you agree that they bring the charm of your Hawaiian vacation into the experience? Or have you found another airline that you prefer for getting to and from Hawaii? Finally, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It's a great way to help the channel and enables me to make more videos like this one. Until next time, happy travels!